Good morning. Welcome to a very special Thanksgiving edition of Convince Me, presented by BetMGM. I am Chad Millman. I am joined by Sean Koerner, Simon Hunter, Chris Raybon, Samantha Previte on the Action Network Fantasy News Desk. It's about 10:30 this morning. You're prepping a turkey. You're trying to ignore family. You're figuring out what you're going to do for the day. Here's decisions you don't have to make. We're going to tell you who to bet. We got the sides, we got the props, we got the totals for all three games today. Everything we're talking about, the news, the analysis, the data, the picks, available for free in the award-winning Action Network app. We're going to go game by game by game. First game, Chicago Bears on the road at the Detroit Lions. Sean Koerner, what from this game do you like?
Well, one of the things I'm thankful for this Thanksgiving is the fact that we get another Lions total that is just way too high. So I'm going with the under 41 here. It doesn't matter if it's Andy Dalton versus Jared Goff or Andy Dalton versus Tim Boyle. I love this under. The fact that there's probably a better than 50% chance that we do get another Tim Boyle start means I really love this. And if he were to get another start, I'd project this closer to 37.5 or 38. I mean, he is that bad. I was all over the under last week, and the Lions scored 10 points, but it was kind of fluky how they got there. The touchdown drive was two big runs by DeAndre Swift. He had a 19-yard run and then the 57-yard touchdown run. And then their field goal drive was off of Baker Mayfield's interception on his own 25-yard line. And then the Lions, they failed to get a first down and settle for a field goal. So that's how they got 10 points last week. It was actually fluky that they got any points at all. So I'm all over the under here. Last week was the second straight game. We got a Lions draw play on 3rd and 10 for 0 yards. It's almost like they try to play for the under. So I just love betting Lions unders.
Yeah, it's funny. Not just the third straight, like that's a standard play in their playbook is 3rd and long, run the draw. This is the time we're going to get him. Dan Campbell may not be the smartest coach in football, but he certainly is the most passionate. I love this guy. Simon Hunter, what say you?
Good morning, Chad. Yeah, this is the rare time
turkey.
I love the rare time I love a road favorite. Road favorites last 12 years against the Lions are 12 and 10 and 2 against the spread. No one wants to bet the Bears. Everyone thinks this team's given up. They all think they're quitting on Matt Nagy. The public will be betting the Lions. They'll be betting the Lions money line. I love taking the Bears in this position. It pains me to say, but Andy Dalton statistically has been an upgrade over Fields for this offense. He seems like he's in better control of this offense. He's able to go downfield more with this offense. So if it's Goff, don't really care. I mean, I think it's a half a point difference between these quarterbacks. That's how bad Goff is compared to Tim Boyle, who he's terrible. So I'm feeling good this week taking the Bears. A rare time I would like to take the Bears as a road favorite.
It's a rare time you like to take road favorites, period, let alone taking a road favorite that is the Chicago Bears. That is a flailing team with Andy Dalton, the quarterback, but that also just says how bad the Lions are. Raybon, what do you got for me, buddy? Happy Thanksgiving, Chris Raybon.
Happy Thanksgiving, Chad. I got my Emmitt Smith 1995 throwback on in honor of Thanksgiving. I missed the days when we got to see Emmitt and Barry instead of Tim Boyle or Jared Goff and Andy Dalton.
Dude, but you were 1 day old in 1995 when Emmitt Smith was dominating for the Cowboys.
Not true. That was the first football season I remember watching in full was the 1995 season. Don't remember as much about 94, but 95. Do remember the Cowboys won a Super Bowl that year. They beat Neil O'Donnell. So
yeah, here's what's pathetic is I was at that Super Bowl. Working, by the way.
I mean, hey, you know what else is going to be working? The under 41 in this game. Listen, it's going to be an ugly one. It's Andy Dalton. It's somebody for the Lions. It's a short week, so you can't really scheme up a lot of wrinkles on offense. Looks like Allen Robinson's going to be out for Chicago, which means you have two of the worst receiving corps in the league. Detroit makes another one of their top receivers inactive every other week. Both of these teams are each 7-3 to the under. So they're 14-6 combined to the under, 70% under in this season. I just don't see how we're getting both of these teams into the 20s, if one of them even gets there. So give me the under 41.
This is interesting. Koerner and Raybon are both on the under 41.5. Simon likes the Bears -3. Simon, do you have a take on the total?
Yeah, I'm actually on the over, so they're gonna hate my view on this. It's just the kind of game script where I look at a banged up Bears defense. I look at a Lions defense that's kind of overperformed. People are kind of buying into what they did last week against the Browns. Just it seems like a good get right spot for this Bears offense. And you talk about the shortened week, usually that affects the defenses. They just don't deal well with it. So if this was a Sunday matchup, I'd be right there with them. But I've been burned too many times on these short weeks taking that 41. So it definitely scares me a little bit.
Oh my God. See, if you had gone with the under, then it'd be a no-brainer. I'd just be taking the under. As it is, I looked at these lines very early during the week. My first instinct of anything I saw, Bears -3. This is the exact spot where you bet the Bears on the road. So much turmoil in the locker room. Andy Dalton coming back. You don't even stories about is Matt Nagy going to continue on, all that kind of stuff. Give me the Bears -3.
Hey, Chad, I would just like to let you know, since you already made the pick, I can tell you this now. You're going to love this. The Bears have a longer losing streak than the Lions right now. Longest in the NFL, because the Lions had a tie. The Bears have lost 5 straight. just putting that out.
Well, guess what? I'm giving thanks that today is the day they break that streak on Thanksgiving. Bear down.
Another trend towards the Bears. The last 12 teams to play the Lions on Thanksgiving, they're 12-0 straight up.
Guys, come on. This is all lining up to be golden.
And that
today.
goes back to Megatron with Stafford for all those seasons. I mean, that's how bad the Lions have been.
Joey Harrington got his revenge game on the Lions too, way back. I think it was like in 05 or 06 on Thanksgiving. So yeah, I kind of don't hate that Bears pick either.
This game's gonna end in a 3-3 tie. You're gonna wish you had the under.
All right, let's get to our next game on the board. We are talking, of course, about the Dallas Cowboys hosting the Las Vegas Raiders, the reeling Las Vegas Raiders. Sean Koerner, what do you got?
So I like the Raiders plus 7.5 here. It seems likely that the Cowboys will be without both Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. That's a clustery injury situation that's probably worth 1.5 to 2 points even. Dak played most of the second half without CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper, obviously. And he struggled mightily. His pass rating was 68 in the second half. His adjusted net yards per attempt was 4.0. Both would rank dead last among qualified quarterbacks. So it's safe to say he struggled without his top 2 receivers. On the other side, you mentioned that the Raiders, they've been on a 3-game losing streak. Have to imagine the Gruden resignation and the Henry Ruggs tragedy played into that. But they're a team that they have enough talent on offense where I could see them, being a backdoor threat here. So I love getting them at a key number like 7.5.
All right, Simon, you go.
Right there with Sean. I pains me to say it, but the 7.5, it's a lot of points for Dallas down their top 2 receivers to be covering. So just playing it up the pure number, I had this at 6. You're giving me a free 1.5. I think this is going to go up to 8 as well. I just can see the public really betting this up, especially when you see on these Thanksgiving games, if the Bears win and the public's on the Bears, they're just going to roll that money over onto Dallas. So you might even get another bump up on the line movement right before kickoff. So it's an interesting position to take this one. Another favorite stat of mine, another trend I've noticed, teams favored by a touchdown on Thanksgiving, they're 16-3 against the spread. So it's going to take a little bit of cojones here, people, to take this big number with the Las Vegas Raiders, but it feels like the right time to take this position.
I got another stat that I'm going to throw at you guys after Raybon goes. By the way, Simon, you referenced 16-3. That is since 2003, just so people are aware. Last 19 so years. Raybon, what do you got?
Man, I want to take the Raiders plus 7.5, but they are 1-9 against the spread in their last 10 games in November and December. They just fade every year. It seems like late in the year. I don't know what's going on with them, but I'd rather play the under in this game. I mean, surprise. Like I guess I'm just that guy now. I'm just playing all of the unders here because 51, the highest total of the week for a Dallas offense that scored 9 points, single digits, against the Chiefs. And then you got the Raiders, 13 points at home to the Bengals last week. I just don't see either of these teams generating enough offense to warrant a 51. I think this should be closer to 48, 49. Now, both of these teams are above average in pressure rate, and Dallas has done that without a lot of their better pressure defenders for most of the year. Vegas, we know they have Ngakoue and Crosby. And Dallas, this is not the same old Dallas team that just gets taken advantage of on defense. They're fourth in defensive DVOA. And remember, that's schedule adjusted. So it's not going to be an easy matchup for the Raiders on a short week on the road. And then the Raiders, they're 20th in offensive DVOA. I really think the Ruggs, absence is hurting them because Deshaun is not really filled in. Zay Jones is getting most of those snaps. And without that deep threat, you're seeing it's either Renfro or Waller, but it's tough to get both going at the same time. Defenses can take away one or the other. And the offensive line is bad, so they can't run the ball. So I think both of these offenses are overrated, and the public, is going to want to bet on points. And this game of all the three, it seems like the one where you could get the most points. So this number to me is just way out of whack, up there at 51, maybe even gets above that. So give me the under.
If I were to give you a stat, thanks to our own Brandon Anderson, that says since 2005, favorites that are getting 57% of the bets, in this case, the Dallas Cowboys, are 24-7 on Thanksgiving Day. So the trend, I get what you guys are saying about the Raiders. The trend favors the Cowboys. I'll be honest, I hate the Raiders in this spot. Absolutely hate them. I know the wise guys,
though, right?
What's that?
So that's when you got to bet them, though, right?
I know, but I know the wise. Look, I know the wise guys have loved the Raiders the last, all season, and especially the last couple of weeks. And I've hated it every single time we've talked about it. Simon, every single time you and I have talked about it, I've hated it. I thought it was terrible. I don't have faith in this team. I didn't have faith in this team when they were covering, everybody was betting on them. I actually love Raybon's pick. And I love the under here of 51. To me, that makes the most sense because the offenses are struggling. And without that receiving core for the Cowboys and with no deep threat for the Raiders and Derek Carr continuing to throw picks late in the game, give me Las Vegas, Dallas, under 51. All right, let's check out some fantasy news from Samantha Previte on the fantasy news desk.
Thanks, Chad. In this special edition of Start Sit, I'm going to hit you with 3 starts and 3 sits I like in this 3-game slate. Let's get into it. First, Darnell Mooney is a borderline must start in Detroit. Mooney has vaulted his way into fantasy relevance in spite of the Bears' offensive struggles this year. He's strung together 2 solid games for fantasy in a row, one of which he scored twice, and last week where he saw a whopping 16 targets for 121 yards and a touchdown. He should feast on this Lions defense, even if it's Andy Dalton throwing the ball, and should be considered a wide receiver 2 this week. Second, I love Michael Gallup at home versus the Raiders. He's been unimpressive for fantasy purposes since returning from injured reserve, but he did have a season-high 10 targets in Week 11 versus the Chiefs. With Amari Cooper already ruled out of this game due to COVID-19 protocols and CeeDee Lamb trending towards sitting this one out in the concussion protocol and on the short week, Gallup could be the team's top target. He is a strong wide receiver 2 option if both Lamb and Cooper are out. And third, Dawson Knox is a solid play on the road against the Saints. He was a lone bright spot in the Bills' implosion against the Colts and reeled in 6 of 10 targets for 80 yards. I expect him to put up top 12 numbers, even in a more difficult matchup against New Orleans. Moving on to sits, I want you to sit Derek Carr on the road versus the Cowboys. He started out the season blazing hot, but has cooled off significantly, which is understandable given the many off-field distractions for the team. He had the second worst game of the season last week and has as many touchdowns as interceptions over the last 3 games. Dallas has been permeable to the pass, but I just don't trust this Raiders offense. Second, I am completely out on Zach Moss in the Big Easy. He had his worst game of the year last week, which granted wasn't a great game script for the run, but he was outtouched by Matt Breida and Devin Singletary and may not be 100%. He belongs back on the waiver wire, not in your Thanksgiving lineups. And finally, TJ Hawkinson against the Bears scares me. He mustered an okay performance with Tim Boyle under center and finished with 8 fantasy points in half PPR. Jared Goff is trending towards playing, though I'm not sure how much of an upgrade that'll be for the Lions offense. Hawk bageled in week 10 with Goff under center and has little appeal in a game with the lowest point total of the week and versus the Bears, who have been tough against the position. You probably can't sit him this week, but you probably wish you could. And that is all I have for you for Start Sit. Go get those lineups set before the food coma sets in, and good luck in week 12.
We're back. Final round, final game. Buffalo Bills visiting the New Orleans Saints. Koerner. Interesting. Sean Koerner. Talk to me.
So let's get wild here. Let's go with Juwan Johnson to be the Saints' first touchdown scorer at 20-1 odds. This is way too high. First off, there's way more value here taking this than the first touchdown scorer of the game, where he's 33-1. That should be, 45 or 50-1 if you do the math right on this, because the Bills are more likely to score first. I don't like factoring in, luck of like who wins the coin toss or all that stuff. So this is Juwan Johnson to be the Saints' first touchdown scorer. The reason I like this is because Saints starting tight end Adam Trautman was just placed on IR. And now Juwan Johnson was inactive last week, but he's, the main backup pass catching tight end. So with Trautman out, he's going to play here. And, I expect he and Nick Vannett probably to split the receiving work at tight end. So there is a little bit of uncertainty there, but uncertainty is kind of your friend on a 20-1 bet. I really do think Juwan Johnson will be their main red zone threat. He has 3 touchdowns on 9 receptions this year. This Bills defense can lock down receivers, and the Saints really don't have that many quality wide receivers. So Juwan Johnson might actually be the best bet to like score the first pass catching touchdown. So that's why I like him here. I'm projecting this closer to 10-1. So I think there's a ton of value here.
So on brand for Koerner to find a way to say something that makes everyone uncomfortable, like uncertainty, is your friend. Simon Hunter, what do you got?
Yeah, Sean took all my thunder. It's usually my job to give long shot underdogs that won't win, but Sean's stepping up to the plate today. I love the Bills. I love them at -4. We've talked about it just in the last couple of hours. It's been bet all the way up now to -5.5, up to -6. What am I supposed to do here? I still love the Bills. I still think as long as you're under 6.5, which is a key number, or 7, I still would love to take it. But, people waking up Thursday morning, if this line's running by the time it gets to Thursday night, it's hard to take it. But like I just said, if they're greater than 7 points against the spread, these favorites, they're 16-3 against the spread. Nighttime favorites are 10-4 against the spread. It just, everything points to the Bills. I love this Bills offense going from being outdoors in bad weather to playing an indoor game against a team that the Saints might be out Ingram. They might be out Kamar. They might be out both tackles. I just don't see how Trevor Siemian could keep up with Josh Allen and the Bills. So it feels a little too easy. And I know I'm with the public here because it's going to be a ton of money coming in on the Bills. You have to take this free money when the book gives it to you. So I like the Bills a lot here.
Free money. Let's give thanks for that. Raybon, I can only imagine what you're going to say.
Under. This is an under spot. Again, we're sweeping with unders here. Under 45.5 for Buffalo, New Orleans. Look, this is too average. Well, Buffalo's average at offense. I think New Orleans now without Winston is below average, but the underlying metrics, Buffalo is 14th at offensive DVOA. New Orleans is 15th. Again, I think New Orleans is a little worse than that, with this quarterback situation. But on both sides, they're elite defenses. Buffalo's first in defensive DVOA, even after giving up the 40 burger to the Colts. And the Saints are 6th. This is going to be one of those games where I think both teams are going to show up. Both teams are coming off a loss. And the thing that worries me about taking the Bills here, I do think it's kind of a, get right spot. I think you're going to get a good effort here. But, Sean Payton just always finds a way usually to keep these things close. He's 72% off a multi-game losing streak. He's 65% off a loss. 71% is a home dog. So I just think this is more like a 16-13 game where both defenses show up. Both of these teams are elite at stopping the run. So what's that going to do? A lot of 2nd and long, 3rd and long situations. The Saints can play that 2 safety high defense that gives Buffalo problems. Buffalo can play defense which any defense is going to give the Saints problems. So I think this number is way too high. I think this is another low-scoring game in New Orleans, loud. I think it's not going to be easy for the Bills, but don't expect the Saints to generate much offense against the focused Bills defense after they did nothing last week.
I do try to be logical about this, but why the freak would I want to root for nothing but bad football and unders all of Thanksgiving? It's like one of the best days of the year, and you're saying to me, root for nothing to happen. Koerner, where are you on the total in this game? Where are you in the side in this game?
Well, I could see this like in line with Raybon, it being 16-13, but part of that 13-point outburst from the Saints will be a Juwan Johnson touchdown. So that's all I care about.
I think the number's running away, honestly, on the Bills. Like I know, like when we had planned to, talk about this, Simon, I know you're getting like 4.5. I just think now you're getting like to a point, like the Saints have just been so good at covering in these spots when you don't expect them to, that's what kind of scares me. Even though I do think the Bills are a get right.
You know
the big
what?
argument though is all those numbers are Sean Payton and Drew Brees. It's a new age, my friend. So some of those numbers you got to
it's a lot of Bridgewater. It wasn't only Brees, but point taken. I mean, they did it with Taysom. Right? They did it with yeah, but wait, that's okay.
Listen, I don't need any more debate because I know what I'm doing. I'm going with Juwan Johnson first touchdown, 20-1.
Yes.
It's the only one that actually has any fun, where I feel like if I lose, I won't be sad, and if I win, I'm going to be overly joyed.
Yep, that'll pay for the entire Thanksgiving dinner.
That will pay for
the rest of the
everything that I've been cooking since Tuesday night. All right, my recap. I got the Bears -3. I got Las Vegas, Dallas under 51. I got Juwan Johnson. First Saints touchdown, 20-1. Your recaps. Sean Koerner, you got Detroit Bears under 41.5. You got the Raiders +7.5. You got Juwan Johnson, 20-1, first Saints touchdown score. Simon, you've got the Bears -3. You've got the Raiders +7.5. You got the Bills -5.5, -6.5. You like it up to 7. You probably will still bet it even at 7, but this thing, as we approach Thursday night, is going to get a little crazy, I would imagine. I agree with you. Chris Raybon, you like Detroit, Chicago under 41.5. You like Las Vegas, Dallas under 51. You like New Orleans and the Bills under 46. You're just a whole ball of joy on Thanksgiving. I am Chad Millman for Chris Raybon, Simon Hunter, Sean Koerner. I am thankful for them. I'm thankful for Gifford Gould, for Evan Abrams, for Christina Ventura, our producer, Samantha Previte on the Fantasy News Desk, Darren Rovell, who couldn't be with us. We are all thankful for all of you for watching our show. Have a great Thanksgiving, win or lose.